Hey, Ethan here, and this episode we'll be looking at Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, primarily for the Xbox 360. It's now time for some brief development history. Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare was developed by Infinity Ward 2 years after the release of Call of Duty 2 and wanted to move away from making World War II shooters and decided to make a game focusing on what was Modern Warfare at the time. Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare was released for the Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, PC, and Nintendo DS on November 5, 2007, and then 2 years later on the same day as its sequel for the Nintendo Wii, the DS version having a totally different story. Now it's time to actually talk about the campaign. Modern Warfare's campaign takes place in 2011. You play primarily as the character Soap McTavish. We are then introduced to Gaz and Captain Price talking about the situation at hand, and they are introduced to the training.
Good to see you, mate. Take one of the rifles from the table.
We then go shoot targets, grab a sidearm, knife a watermelon, and then Gaz tells us to go see Captain Price.
It's the FNG, sir. Go easy on him, sir. It's his first day in the regiment.
Right. What the hell kind of name is Soap, eh? How'd a muppet like you pass selection? Soap, it's your turn for the CQB test. Everyone else head to observation. For this test, you'll have to run the cargo ship solo in less than 60 seconds. Gaz holds the current squadron record at 19 seconds. Good luck. Climb the ladder over there.
We then go for an obstacle course and they're thrown into the first real mission of the game, Crew Expendable, with us roping down into a cargo ship and go through the ship killing Russian enemies until we find a nuclear device in air and escape until...
Inbound! Shit! They've opened... Bravo 6, come in. Bravo 6, what's your status?
Shit! What the hell happened? The ship's sinking! We've got to go!
Bravo 6, come in, damn it!
Big Bird, this is Bravo 6. We're on our way out. On your feet, soldier. We are leaving. Get to the catwalks. Move, move, move. Move your asses. Come on, let's go.
We then escape with Soap almost missing the jump to the helicopter. It then jumps to Saudi Arabia with President Al-Falani getting thrown into a car and then executed by extremist leader al-Assad. It then switches back to Gaz, Captain Price, and Soap going through small buildings and linking up with some new characters, Sergeant Kamarov, and proceed to take out enemies from below, and eventually interrogate Kamarov and rope down and reach a building, rescuing the informant Nikolai, and escape via helicopter. It then switches to the Americans. You play as Sergeant Paul Jackson roping down and reach a building where al-Assad is located, but discover he's not there. They then get a tip on about a broadcast from al-Assad at a TV station and then discover the broadcast is recording. Later on at night, the Marines get ambushed and then destroy tanks with a javelin and reach a field with tons of enemies and blow up a ZPU and then put a beacon down so friendly helicopters can attack the enemy and then regroup at a tank. It then switches back to the SAS getting shot down and going through buildings while shooting down a big helicopter and wait until reinforcements arrive. The next mission up is Death from Above. You play as a gunner on an AT-130 gunship and have 2 types of thermal vision and 3 different millimeter guns. The main objective is to take out all enemies in the area until Captain Price's team can evac. It then switches back to the Marines, going through the same town but during the day to take out the remaining enemies in the area. The next mission after that has to start off on a helicopter using a grenade launcher to destroy enemies on rooftops. We then land to help other Marines get onto the helicopter, and then learn that a nuke might go off, but one of the helicopter pilots gets shot down and then we decide to save her, knowing that we will not be at a safe distance from the nuke explosion. And then...
All U.S. forces be advised. We have a confirmed nuclear threat in the city. Nest teams are on site and attempting to disarm. I repeat. Everyone hang on!
We then climb out of the damaged helicopter and then die. It then switches back to the SAS, going through several buildings in Azerbaijan looking for Al-Assad and eventually discover...
Remember, we want all Assad alive. He's no good to us dead. Let's go.
Why'd you do it? Where did you get the bomb? Who then? Who? Give me a name. A name. I want his name.
Sir, it's his cell phone. Who was that, sir?
Zakhaev. Imran Zakhaev. I was just a lieutenant back then, doing some wet work. Chernobyl, Christmas for the bad guys. Even a decade later, a lot of them still used it to get their hands on nuclear material. A lot of them, including one, Imran Zakhaev. Of course, we couldn't just let that happen. Cash for spent fuel rods. That's one hell of a recipe for destruction. It was the first time our government had authorized an assassination order since the Second World War. I was under the command of Captain Macmillan.
All Gillied Up, the most iconic section from COD 4. It has you play as Captain Price following Captain Macmillan through several patrols of enemies until you eventually reach a hotel and wait for several days to snipe Imran Zakhaev. You then escape by roping down and running through various buildings. Then Macmillan's leg gets hurt, which causes you to carry him, and eventually reach an evac area where you and Macmillan defend several waves of enemies until reinforcements arrive. It then switches back to the present day, 8 hours after Al-Assad's death, with the SAS taking out many waves of enemies until American reinforcements arrive. The Marines and SAS start working together to take out Zakhaev's son. They then take out a small group of enemies near a restaurant and take the outfits from the dead soldiers and wait until Zakhaev's son arrives and then open fire. And then we have a long chase sequence until...
Yeah, positive ID. Target is on the roof. He's all yours.
Gun! Now drop it! I can put one in his leg, sir.
No, we can't risk it. Hold your fire. So, take his weapon and restrain him.
Drop it!
So, restrain him now.
Shit, kid's got some issues.
Let's play. This is Bravo 6. Zakhaev's son's dead. We're coming home.
Bloody hell. His son was our only lead, sir.
Forget it. I know the man. He won't let this go unanswered. Let's go.
Our so-called leaders prostituted us to the West, destroyed our culture, our economies, our honor. Our blood has been spilled on our soil. My blood on their hands. They are the invaders. All US and British forces will leave Russia immediately or suffer the consequences.
It's quite simple. Either we retake the launch facility or we won't recognize the world tomorrow. Green light to Halo. Charlie team go. Second drop approaching. Bravo team stay tight. Go!
Regroup on me.
Price and the others parachute down and realize Sergeant Griggs is missing and go house to house until they find him. They then blow up a radio tower and go through several buildings with a ton of reinforcements. They then meet up with 2 American snipers and then 2 Russian rockets launch. Then Price and the team make their way to the Russian base while taking out enemies and blowing up tanks, then cutting through these vents with big saws. Once they get inside, they take out every Russian soldier in their way until they find the control room, disabling the rockets launched with the abort codes, and then they get out of there and then use enemy jeeps to dodge incoming enemies and helicopters. The bridge then collapses and then the SAS are told that they're on their own with no support, but then this happens.
You are going to be alright, my friend. Мы нашли здесь одного оставшегося в живых. Заберите его отсюда! Быстро, давай! Мы должны доставить его в госпиталь немедленно!
The Russian government released a statement today confirming a series of nuclear missile tests in central Russia. Although world leaders were quick to denounce the action, Russian officials maintain that the missile tests fell well within established UN protocols. No comment was received from the ultra-nationalist party, where rumors of a possible leadership struggle have just begun to surface. In other news, the search for a ship lost in the Bering Strait due to a major storm has been called off.
The credits roll and then we are thrown into the epilogue, which rescuing a VIP on a plane within 2 minutes and then the plane explodes.
That's the campaign. It's now time to talk about everything else.
There's arcade mode, which you can do for the whole game or one mission. It basically only allows you a certain amount of lives and has you get as many points as possible within a time limit. There's also enemy intelligence, which unlocks cheats for the campaign and also a mission select screen to play certain parts of the game. The game also has multiplayer, which is what made Call of Duty so popular today, but no one's playing it anymore. But it did add things such as weapon customization and kill streaks. The gameplay hasn't changed really much either, but added sprinting back and added night vision goggles for certain sections and the addition of dogs, which can be very hard to counter most of the time. The graphics and performance is pretty good for the time. It uses a new in-house engine by Infinity Ward allowing for 60 FPS on most consoles. Even the PS3 is able to achieve 60 FPS. But except for the Wii, which runs at 30 FPS and has Wii Zapper support, The PC version looks the best but runs weird on today's modern PC hardware, with the game feeling slower than it actually is.
And that is Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, the game that put Call of Duty on the map as we know it today, and is also the first mature rated Call of Duty. But boy, do I hate those dogs.